I invite Mr. Charles Carter, Chairman of the SBA, to welcome you officially to the 8th iteration of this memorial lecture. Mr. Carter?
SBA Board of Directors and CEO, Dr. Lynette Holder. Featured speaker, Mr. Christopher Sinclair, alternate Executive Director of the World Bank Group. Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mr. Ryan Strawn. Permanent Secretary, Kevin Hunt from the Ministry of Energy and Business. Ms. Carrie-Ann Burke, Acting Country Manager and Senior Manager responsible for customer experience in the South Caribbean from our title sponsor, Flow Business. Mr. Deodat Maharaj, Executive Director of Caribbean Export Development Agency. President of the Democratic Labour Party, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood. Other Small Business Week sponsors, members of the Leacock family, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is the 20th year of Small Business Week under the theme, Facilitating a Transformative Agenda that is Fit for Purpose. The past iterations of the Leo Leacock Memorial Lecture have given us some very stimulating speeches which have challenged us to see our environment in a different light. And tonight, I am sure, will be no different. In the last decade, we have seen the rise of some amazing startups that have changed the way people live and made a tremendous impact to their economy. According to data from Faster Capital, Airbnb raised over $4 billion in funding, Uber, $50 billion, Snapchat, $2 billion, Pinterest, $1.5 billion, and SpaceX, $10 billion. CNBC reported that in 2021, 133 startups in the San Francisco Bay Area saw their valuation climb to over $1 billion. Venture capitalists pumped $328.8 billion into US startups, $61.8 billion into Chinese startups, $39.8 billion into UK startups. Why is this data important? Professor Justin Robinson, while delivering the featured address at the Small Business Association webinar titled Making of an Entrepreneur Economy as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week, made some key points. Between 1981 to 2021, Barbados' cumulative growth in real GDP was 22.19, which is low growth. And we were 14 places below similar small island developing states. Therefore, Barbados struggled to generate new wealth, and our economy showed more replicative and necessity-based entrepreneurs. Looking at the data, you will notice that the top successfully funded businesses are more innovative. They either created new markets or disrupted current ones. For an economy to thrive, we need a mixture of all three kinds of entrepreneurs. However, we must ask the question, do we have an economy that can support the necessary capital investment needed for the most innovative entrepreneurs to succeed? Of course, the sheer genius of some of our entrepreneurs will find a way to supersede any limitations they may encounter. However, as a country, we must create the necessary ecosystem to foster the development of our entrepreneurs so that we can see the creation of new wealth, which will stimulate economic growth. We therefore cannot rely on government alone to bridge the financing gap that our entrepreneurs need. We must find a way to unlock the risk-averse nature of our citizens so we can create a market for them to become venture capitalists who can invest in our entrepreneurs. We must remove the barriers to a monetized digital entrepreneurial economy with the rise in social media, and we must address the ease of doing business. This isn't to say that nothing has been done or tried. However, this is where the theme for this year comes in. Was it fit for purpose? A lot of great ideas have been expressed over the years. However, we may have to rethink who we are giving the responsibility for their execution. We have several business support organizations, in particular the Small Business Association, who have the expertise at their disposal to address a wide cross-section of challenges facing 96.3% of our overall businesses, which is based on our last survey. Yet they are not part of the major decision-making boards who are responsible for addressing the issues that affect the sectors that the SBA represents. Let us start by putting the right people in the right positions. What we know is that the old way of doing things is not working. A new approach is needed now more than ever. Otherwise, we will find ourselves having the same discussions repeatedly. We have a generation of young people who are eager to express their ideas, but if we don't provide them with an ecosystem which embraces and propels innovation, they will remain frustrated with the lack of opportunities and will continue to leave. Government, private sector, and our citizens must work collectively to develop our country for the betterment of all. I'll leave you with this statement from Professor Sir Hilary Beckles as he concluded the 7th annual Leo Leacock Memorial Lecture, where he spoke on the topic, Reimagining National Development, the Role of Small Enterprises. And I quote, "At the moment, our society is a frustrated society. I mentioned it was gridlocked, but it is also frustrated because we all know we can't go on like this. But at the same time, there seems to be no political will to formulate a policy of inclusion for the majority of citizens in the economic life of the country." This statement was made 7 years ago, something we can all reflect on. I thank you all for coming out to tonight. Please enjoy the rest of today's proceedings and do have a good time after as well. Thank you.